I'm Ivan Kayser, CEO of Redscout, and I'm here with my friend Kristen Brophy, who is the VP of Direct to Consumer at the NBA. She runs a lot of the league's direct to consumer efforts to create a relationship with fans, like the app and other channels.
Sports fandom has changed so much in the last 10 years. And I think to understand sports fandom and how it's changed, we have to look at how consumer habits and consumer behavior has changed. From a consumer habits perspective, the biggest shift we see that probably impacts sports the most is the shift away from cable first, linear first viewing into multi-platform digital consumption. TV viewing still represents the largest media habit and form of media consumption, but in younger audiences, 14 to 34, we've seen a 40% decline in cable viewership, which is big. And you kind of have to ask yourself, where'd the fans go? Where'd the young fans go? And they went online. They spend 2 hours more on online gaming, on social media, on streaming, which has led to a big shift in audience fragmentation. And that presents a real challenge for leagues, for content, for entertainment, because fans are going to different devices, they're going to different media and entertainment options. And so this fragmentation is an opportunity at the same time for brands and leagues to really say, how do we capture and maintain our fans' attention? So that's been a big shift. I think the other big shift is around consumer expectations. Today, consumers expect to be able to connect with the league one-on-one and connect with brands and companies one-on-one. And what that's meant is we've really had to find ways to become an even more direct-to-consumer business and to find more ways to personalize and connect with fans with a direct relationship. And so those big shifts have really informed our strategy as a league.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about this new generation of fan. Like, how do they connect to basketball? How do they connect to athletes in a way that was different from folks before, beyond the channel? Like, what is the nature of their fandom?
Yeah, the nature of their fandom is that they really want to go beyond the live game.
Yeah.
They want to understand who our athletes are as human beings. They want to see what their life is like on the court and off the court. They want to hear about the strategy of basketball, but they also want to see what they're doing when they go home with their families and what kind of people they are. We hear so much that our fans really want to understand, what our players are like and what the culture of basketball is really like and how those two things intersect.
Yeah. So, and if you had to look ahead a little bit, what are the sort of emergent behaviors that you're most intrigued by? Some of the things that you think you guys can take more advantage of?
Yeah, I think the big shifts have been really primarily in social.
Yeah.
And so we really listen to what fans are doing and what they're into and what they want to know, and that can really be around basketball strategy, the X's and O's of basketball, the underdog stories, what new players are coming.
You worked in tech at Uber and Square,
Yep.
and now you're working in a very different world,
Very different.
working for one of the great entertainment brands this country has.
Yep.
What have you taken from tech and brought into the league?
Yeah, I've had such a privilege to work in tech and now the NBA, and there's so much we can learn from one another, and there's so much we have learned from one another. From tech, my biggest learning as a direct-to-consumer marketer is that I have to start with who my customer is. And we know at the league, over half of our fan base is under 35. And we have the youngest and most diverse fan base than any league in the US. And so what we know about young fans is that they're tech savvy and they expect us to innovate. And so we know we have to deliver on that for them. And when I've looked around at tech, and when we as a league have really looked to tech to tell us things, and we've talked to our fans, we've had three really big lessons that we've learned. First is that we've had to own our own destiny, which has meant owning our own infrastructure. And so we've had to bring our tech in-house, and we've built over the last few years an engineering team, a product team, a digital marketing team. Yeah. The second big lesson that we've learned is that our fans are all over the world and all over the internet, and we have to build a consistent global experience for them, which has meant bringing all of our tech in-house, bringing our products in-house, and owning those technologies. And then third, after talking to fans, we hear that they really want choice. And there's so many ways to be a fan today. You can watch the live game whenever you want. You could watch it in your language on our app. You could change the camera angle of watching a game. You could buy merch. And so fans just engage with the NBA in so many different ways. And we know that we have to personalize experiences so that they can do that. And so over the course of the last year, over the last few years, as we've become a more direct-to-consumer business, we've invested in giving fans more access to the live game, more access to digital community experiences within our apps, and more personalization.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bringing the best of technology-driven, direct-to-consumer marketing.
That's right.
To the league.
That's right.
What about the reverse? What are the things that you've discovered at the NBA that you think every marketer at a conventional brand should know about?
Yeah, great question. I'd say the thing that tech can learn from brands, like the NBA and the NBA specifically, is that a commitment to cultural values and a commitment to brand values it can grow your following, but it can establish a more loyal base. I think when you look at Gen Z and millennials' expectations of brands today, they are holding brands accountable, and they're holding them accountable to things like taking real action, investing real dollars, and making real change for very real problems that our society is facing today.